Hello, Abe. Thank you very much for being with us today, even if you are in California and I'm in Madrid. Okay, this year's edition of the CincoDías Awards is a very special one. Just as 2020 is, I think it's the most extraordinary year we can remember. In this year, Zoom has become a part of our daily lives. It has become even a verb to Zoom with someone. So we really appreciate that having you here and you being with us.
Nuno, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate joining you today.
Okay. I think that the first question for me is it's like pretty obvious because did you or anyone at the company ever imagine that Zoom will be a social tool? I mean, people sharing meals, sharing beers online via this app.
We're humbled and we're surprised by the incredible growth that we've seen here in 2020. And obviously, it's a very unusual time in the world. But Zoom felt that it was important that we stood up and we help people connect. And since the founding of the company, Nuno, we have been focused on helping businesses connect with seamless, easy to use video that's safe and secure. We've been focused on that for education and also government institutions. What we couldn't have predicted was the incredible amount of interest and use on Zoom for social connection and for personal connection. So, to give you an idea, in the beginning of 2020, as we entered January of 2020, we were averaging about 10 million meeting participants per day globally around the world on Zoom. By March of 2020, that number had increased to more than 200 million meeting participants per day.
Yeah.
And then actually 30 days later, by April, that number had become more than 300 million meeting participants per day. We're averaging and pacing towards more than 3 trillion meeting minutes on the platform per year. So everybody is Zooming these days for classwork or business work, or sometimes social work, a birthday party, a celebration, maybe in the future, in the next month or so, a Christmas celebration or a holiday celebration. And we're very humbled and pleased to help where we can.
Okay. And okay, obviously you said it was an unexpected event, a terrible event also, but Zoom was like in the right place at the right time. But you have had to compete to fight against many of the big names in tech. All of them are in your same market. What did you do before 2020 to be here today?
Well, I think it's actually pretty consistent with what we've done since we founded the company in 2011. Video conferencing was not a new space. There were always strong competitors and lots of solutions and options for video when we started the company about 9 years ago. And, our focus is to provide the highest quality video that just works every time, that's safe and secure, and that delights the customer and brings happiness to how they meet and work, play, and educate themselves. So, we really focus on ourselves first and how we can be the best in engineering and designing the product. So we have an exceptional product that's designed for ease of connection, high quality, high safety, and then also to adjust to bandwidth requirements and needs. So in low bandwidth areas, and that's managed through a global data center of 19 data centers around the world. But our job is to focus on being the best Zoom we can, and there'll always be options in the market. We want to please the customer with product and service and happiness. If we can do that, I think we'll be competitive for a long time.
Okay, maybe this you said easy to use. The Zoom is a very easy to use app. Has been key in reaching this huge market.
I think so. The great thing about Zoom is very consumer-like, so it just works every time.
Yeah.
And whether that's on a desktop or a mobile device or in a room system or now at home with our Zoom at Home products and options, there's a lot of diversity on how you can connect anywhere, anytime, very, very easily. Now, what we focus on is doing that safely and securely, and that we ensure that there's all kinds of innovation that continues to come from the product. So If you were recently at our global event called Zoomtopia about 3 weeks ago, we announced a lot of features that are being released here in 2020 and then forward into 2021. We're going to continue to push the market on innovation and great new solutions, including our Zoom Phone product, which is growing exceptionally well right now too.
Okay, but from a company point of view, the pandemic has accelerated your business plan, but maybe 3, 5, 10 years.
Well, it has increased our business plan for sure. If you look at just something like our financial guidance, when we entered 2020, our initial guidance to the market, to Wall Street and beyond, was about slightly over $900 million in revenue. The most recent guidance that we gave in our Q2 earnings call about almost 3 months ago was now about $2.4 billion in revenue for this fiscal year. So guiding the market exceptionally well. And we've seen all points increase. So if you look at our paid user accounts that are 10 employees or more, there's more than 370,000 customers now. We serve millions of clients, both free and paid, of course. And, we also manage and measure the large enterprise customers that are enjoying the product as well. So those are companies that are spending more than $100,000 or more per year. And as of Q2, that was almost 1,000 customers, so slightly under 1,000 customers. And those are really interesting large organizations in corporate business, in education and government and otherwise. So you could say, yes, our business has increased quite a bit. Our hope is to just continue to execute and provide the service in a stable, performant way that people enjoy. That's our focus here.
Okay. And in this time, what has been the biggest challenges in this 2020? You had some privacy issues, especially at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, well, look, I think part of what we've seen is the change in usage, as we mentioned. So there's been an incredible amount of consumption in a short amount of time. A lot of that as you mentioned, is consumers. So we had to react very quickly to help people use the product more effectively. You got to remember that Zoom was designed and built for businesses originally, which meant that most companies had corporate IT, they had policy and administration to roll out the product, things like single sign-on, et cetera. We focused on what we called the 90-day period, which was during our 90-day plan, we froze all engineering other than security-related items. So that was a concentrated effort around product development. So we released, in that 90-day period, almost 100 unique features specific to security. Those included things like a security button right front and center on the product, which made it easier to control and utilize security features more effectively and easily. We increased our people services. So we welcomed Jason Lee from Salesforce, our new Chief Information Security Officer, and together with consultants, which included 34 CISOs and what we call a CISO Council. Those are top chief information security officers from around the world. They volunteered their time to consult and support in a council to Zoom. We hired outside consultants. We increased our testing services and certification. We also developed a more advanced encryption at the network level. So we made an acquisition with a company called Keybase. And within very quick order, I'm very pleased to announce that we have released our end-to-end security option on the network security for our free and paid users. And then additionally, we continue to own and manage and operate our data centers, which is the data center security that we provide too. So we're doing everything possible to continue to make security front and center and allow people to enjoy the meetings that they love with Zoom, but do it in a way that they know is secure and safe and values their privacy.
Okay. And so you had to deal also with a big explosion in demand. So it's also a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's we're all facing the pandemic together. Yeah. So our team, I'm very proud of the Zoom team. The company has worked very, very hard and been very focused on a single mission of making sure that children continue to get educated. You know, we provided our service for free in 25 countries, you know, more than 125,000 primary and secondary schools with millions of students were using the product. We reacted quickly. Very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fact that large corporations, some of the largest banks in the world, some of the largest consultancies in the world, moved hundreds of thousands of employees from the conference room to the kitchen table. And I'm also really humbled to see that governments have adopted the product recently. You probably saw, you know, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, tweeting about the fact that he's continuing to use Zoom for his cabinet meetings. You know, that's fantastic. People are governing with it. So we're very humbled with that.
Okay, well, you're also happy.
Well, yeah, we're happy to help. We're happy to help and serve and grow the market. Yeah.
And what about the day after? Okay, one time we can defeat the virus, or at least coexist with the virus, but some changes in the consumer habits, in education, in the workplace, some changes are here to stay. What's your thinking about that?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, Nuno, I would say the trends that that are happening during the pandemic are the same trends that we were seeing before the pandemic started. So, for example, the growth of the remote workforce or the gig economy, people working in a coffee shop, a Starbucks, people were working from their home. That curve was only increasing before the pandemic. Of course, that's increased more. You know, things like distance learning for education was growing steadily in the market before the pandemic. And then social connection of how people were using video at a consumer level was increasing as well. We always believed that video was the new voice. So video as the new voice is here to stay. Certainly what the pandemic has taught us is that there's a different way to use video, and it works. It works for education, it works for business with high productivity from employees, and it works for social connection and keeping ourselves safe and connected while the virus still persists. Those things will evolve, and I think there'll be a time and a place where health returns and there's a hybrid coexistence. But I think that our world has been fundamentally changed in both ways that education, business, and government that we probably hadn't expected.
Yeah, nobody, I think. Okay, Abe, thank you very much. This has been a very insightful conversation. I hope in the next edition of the CincoDías Awards, we don't have lockdowns, we don't have masks, but we still can Zoom our friends and Zoom our workmates or whatever.
Please.
Thanks.
Yeah, congratulations on the CincoDías Awards. It's great. It's a very exciting time. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you very much and have a good day, Abe.
You too. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for the time. Nuno, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.